Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Chris. Welcome to my channel. Now, I bet you're looking at me thinking, what is this crazy old fool up to now? Well, one of my tools that I use on the allotment and in the garden has fell apart. And I've searched all over the internet and I cannot find one. I don't think they make them anymore, which they don't. I'm pretty sure they don't. I've even tried to get hold of, looked on the old websites, can't find them. And there's no information about them whatsoever that I can find. What sort of garden tool has blades like that? Pop a couple of comments below and have a guess. The younger viewers probably won't get it, but I think some of the older ones, some of the retired people might. So what's actually happened is the bolt that holds this particular tool together has sheared away and broken off. So we've got a handle, we've got our two blades, and we've got one of these. Quite an interesting little bolt. Let us know if you've ever seen one of these before. I'll be quite interested to know. So while it's in bits, I thought what I'd do, I'll just give it a little rub over with the sandpaper. I've basically finished these now. Clean them up a bit. They are a little bit rusty. Now, as far as I'm aware, this tool was handed down to my dad from his dad, so my granddad. But I think it goes a little bit further back in history than that. How far back, I'm not too sure. But we're going to try and repair it because it's so useful. The ones you can buy now to do the same job look nothing like this. And I've tried one and they just really do not work as well. So like I say, we've give these a little rub up, both the blades and the bolt, and a new bolt that I'm going to be putting in. We've got some oil here. You can use 3-in-1 oil, any oil will do. It's just oil them up a bit, I suppose. We're just going to pop them in there. Make sure they're all covered. And we'll just leave them as they are. That's this normal new car oil. So I could be using the wrong one, but personally I don't think it makes any difference. I'm going to leave that for about an hour, couple of hours. And while we're waiting for that, I'm going to turn my attention to the handle. Now, as far as I'm aware, this is the original handle that come with it. I don't think it is, but on this end there was a metal handle all fixed on. It was lovely. It all snapped off, broke away, rusted away, so we adapted a plastic one on that end. This was about 5.5 foot tall, But as you can see, I've had to cut the end off. I'll show you the end. Now that's what it was. Tool fits in the end. It was all nicely chamfered there. Obviously done on a lathe. Cut that bit off and it just fell apart. So obviously that bit's rotten. Discard that. Now I've given this a quick little trim. It's not ideal, but I've done it with a handsaw. So obviously I don't have a lathe, but it will make do. Now I'm going to give that a bit of a coating, give it a bit of protection, and the bolt with the thread on it is going to go straight down the middle of there. Now, because of the size of the thread on that, if I whack that straight down the middle of there, that's just going to split that straight again. So I'm going to drill a hole, a little pilot hole, about that far deep, with this broken drill bit. Broken drill bits, you can get more control, I find, especially on a very low speed. So that will go in there, and this drill bit is a lot smaller than the bolt, which will stop the splitting. I will also show you another little trick for getting screws into wood nice and easy. Okay, we've given this a little stain. We've drilled a hole down the middle, not too far, just around that far. Next thing we're going to do, we've pulled the bolt out, we've cleaned the bolt up, we're going to put this in. Now, because the hole is a lot smaller than what the bolt is, one, we don't want it splitting, and two, if the wood is hard and you hit a knot or any obstruction in the way, it's going to be difficult to get in. So we need a bit of lubrication. Good old-fashioned candle. You probably all know this, but I'm going to show you anyway. A bit of wax just over the thread, like so. You don't need a lot. You need a little bit more at the bottom than what you do at the top, because when you screw it in, the lubrication will go up to the top. So we're just going to pop that in there. A very handy little tool. Now you can use a drill, but I tend to find that when you use a drill, it goes in too fast and it doesn't make the correct contact with the wood, cutting into the wood so it binds. Now bearing in mind, this tool is going to have a lot of weight to pull on and pick up. So it doesn't matter which way round that hole is to that handle. So we'll just, and it is getting harder, I can feel it as it's going down. Put my foot in the handle. very slow process will give it a perfect fit. Probably go down a little bit further than that. Yeah, and I can see on the side here it is splitting a little bit, but that is firmly in there. As you can see, that has split down there, but that, because I've done it by hand, is tight, and that will last a good few years. So the next bit is to get them out, give them a good clean up, and reconstruct it. Have you any ideas yet of what it is? Pop a comment down below. Have a guess. Just drying this last little bit off. We've done the other two, so or we've done the other one and the bolt. Now the idea, now I don't know if this is actually going to work, thinking about it, but I'm going to give it a go and see what happens. Now originally there was some sort of a washer thing in there, and the bit that held it all together had been banged together with a pair of hammers or whatever. It had some weird setup in there which worked very well. Now we've got to try and repair it, not knowing how it was originally put together. We've got to try and make it work. If it doesn't work, make it work. So we've got a bolt. Now we need to get these the right way round, or the whole system just won't work. So we've got a mixture of normal washers, we've got the bolt. Now we've got some of these as well. Let me see them. Big flange, little flange. We're going to try and use them. Just basically whatever I had in my little spares box in the cupboard. So let's have a go. Right. Washer on now. That's too tight. So if we put one of them on there, and then another washer, let's see if we've got it round the right way. Now the idea is, it sits up like that, and then it comes down. That's right, that's good. A little bit of rubbing, but that's it. Sits on there and comes up. Next we're going to go for a washer. Do you know what, I haven't tried this, so I hope the bolt's long enough. Also I'm going to have to pause this and run down the garage and get another bolt. It's a bit longer. Do you know what, I can't see the other one for looking. There it is. That one can go on there. Then we've got the other blade, which I think has got to go that way. We'll give that a go stick a washer on there, and then we'll stick a nut on there. I don't think that's quite right. Go and have a cup of tea, come back, and I might have worked it out. I thought I was right. As normal. I needed a longer bolt. Excuse me. Also, the other thing that was confusing me was I was trying to line them both up on the front, and it's not the way that this works. One bolt, lots of mishmash of washers, a double nut to lock it off, but it's not meant to be like that. It's meant to be like that. See that in there? Now I think that's a pretty good job. Now there's only one other thing that I'm going to do, is give it a little spray with a bit more lubricant just to get in there. Now I've got the tin down here somewhere. Now this is meant for bicycle chains, okay, but when you read down what it does, it's ideal for what I want it for. It lubricates and penetrates, prevents dirt adhesion, frees metal parts, which will loosen all that up, reduces friction, which doesn't really bother me, displaces water, which is good, and prevents rust. So basically it's just a silicone lubricant that will keep it nice and free, hopefully stop it rusting for a couple of years. I'll give it a little spray, but I'm not going to do it in the greenhouse. I don't want to be breathing this in. We'll do it outside. So basically all I'm going to be doing give it a little spray, knee against there, just try and loosen it up just a little bit. Hasn't got to be too loose, it's got to be quite firm so that when it goes in it actually bites. I think that'll do. I think I'll give that 5 minutes. And then we'll try it where it's meant to be used. So, what do you think this is actually used for? Come back in a bit and I'll show you. Welcome back to the compost area. By this time you're probably jumping up and down thinking, what is it? What is it? What's it got? I've never seen one before. But now you've seen this, you're probably going to guess. But let's get the lid off, have a little look, and then I'll show you. Loads of compost. The worms are doing pretty well. Big fat worms. Now we normally have loads and loads of worms all round the rim. They're probably all in there doing what they do. So anyway, get them worms in there. No, I don't want to come out. They can stay there. Stick that down now. Now for this. Now, the idea is that this turns to compost, apparently. Now, it did work in its original state, but I've adapted it, so whether it works or not, we don't know. So what better way to find out and give it a go? Now the idea is, you push that in, like so. You twist it and pull, and when you pull, these levers come out like that and pull the compost up. In turn, you area, there's a little worm there, look, get back in there. Aerates it and makes it condense down more. So let's give it a go and see what happens. Right, we'll start with there. So we've got both our blades upwards like that. All we do, we push it in. Give it a little turn and we'll pull it. And it hasn't worked. Which is quite interesting. Let's give it another couple of goes. Now, as you can see, it's not loose enough. Now I think I need to take a washer off of either side, so that and that actually catches under that bolt. Let's give it a quick wash and try again. Okay, we've readjusted it. I'm losing a bit of daylight now, so we're going to give it another go. We've taken a couple of washes off, so basically these, when they come up, they catch on the big nut at the top. Let's give it another go. In, turn. That's a lot better. Yes. And these are now straight. And when you push it in, they fold down. Look at that. So I'm going to give this a little turn over with the repair tool. Now if you have seen these anywhere, please put a comment below, because I would love to get another one. So I'm going to crack on with this for about 5 minutes, give it a little turn over, condense it down. So there you go. Another couple of quid saved on a good tool that I personally think is better than any of the tools you can buy in the shops. I'll see you next time.